don't know much about you folks, but y'all keep going on like this, and that girl ain't gonna make it. You gotta consider her a living person, that's it. You're either living or you're not. You ain't little, you ain't a girl, you ain't a boy, you ain't strong or smart, you're alive.
Hello, folks. Once again to Button Mash on WCRD 91.3 FM, the Pulse of Ball State. Today, I am bringing you a review of the first episode of Season 2 of the Walking Dead video game by Telltale Games. As some of you who've played the series before know, it's one of 2012's most critically acclaimed titles, bringing a brand new cast of characters to the Walking Dead universe and putting you in the shoes of someone who has to survive and make all the decisions, and some of the greatest characters probably of all of 2012 in gaming, and certainly some of the most memorable examples of like strong female characters with Clementine, everything like that. For those of you who don't know, though, the second season of it just came out. Episode 1, All That Remains of the second season. So there's going to be, just like last season, there will be 5 episodes. And today I'm here to talk about episode 1. I received my Steam code by the graces of the Telltale gods yesterday and finished it in probably 2, maybe 3 hours. Certainly not the longest episode. But yeah, I am going to, like always, segment this review into 3 or so separate segments. We're going to focus on story, gameplay, and graphics, and that's usually how we're going to do all these reviews. So let's start with, obviously, what everyone's here for, the story. It's hard to talk about The Walking Dead Season 2 story-wise without actually spoiling anything, and that's where the main meat of this game exists, is in the story. It's not a super gameplay heavy title, so you're there to experience the tale of these tragic characters. Without spoiling anything, the obvious task that Telltale had with following up on Season 1 was making Season 2 as good. Season 1 seemed like a flash in the dark kind of, wow, where did this brilliant piece of work come from? And by the way, for those of you who can't tell, Lucas isn't here right now. I'm recording this over break, so it's just me. I probably should have led with that. But yeah, we're working on getting Lucas a review code, and possibly we'll be doing a second review of the episode 1 with him, just for a more in-depth feature. But back to the story. Yeah, without spoiling anything, for those of you who have kept up with like the trailers and everything like that, in Season 2, we still follow Clementine, the little girl that you saved as the character Lee in Season 1. And, man, God, I hope all of you have played Season 1, because I don't want to spoil it for you. But suffice it to say, Clementine is now very much a changed person. The game takes place roughly 16 months after the events of Walking Dead Season 1, and still following Clementine. She's now a little bit older, a little bit taller, a little bit leaner, obviously, and she's become a much more cynical kind of girl. You know, gone is the youthful innocence and the sheepish, shy nature of her character in Season 1. She's grown up and she's been subjected to the harsh reality of the world. And the best part of the game is following her story like this. You play as Clementine now. You're not Lee, an average build man. You are still a little girl, which makes for tons of interesting scenarios where Instead of debating with other adults, you're debating or you're talking and you're fending off from other adults. You're weaker. You're not as tall. There's plenty of examples in the first episode, anyway, of Clementine's just barely out of reach of something because she's a little girl. If it were Lee, he probably would have been able to grab it like that. And also being able to fend off attackers like grown men or possibly women, and dealing with their preconceptions of you as a child, of Clementine as a child, because they don't know her story and they don't know what she's been through, which, if they did, they would probably have a lot more respect for her. So suffice to say, there's kind of a new roster, a new cast of characters in this aside from Clementine. And so far, the game introduces them about... The episode introduces them about halfway through the episode, roughly, but I think that they're probably going to be good. The best thing that Telltale is good at is surprising you with where characters go, because, if any of us thought that Kenny from the first season would end up doing a bunch of the things that he did, or becoming the kind of jerk face that he did, we wouldn't have been as surprised, and it wouldn't have been as good. But there's a lot of interesting characters so far. Kind of a Kenny Jr. style guy who, is kind of has it out for you at the beginning, and a couple of female characters. There's another child that Clementine meets, which is interesting, but without spoiling too much, I'll just leave it there. Let's move on to gameplay, because actually, no. One last point about story. Having finished the first episode, and I did it all in one run last night. I can only say, without spoiling, that there are a number of moments in episode 1 that had me practically leaping out of my seat and just yelling obscenities, profanity, and going, no, oh, no. And for those of you who've played season 1, you may have a couple of ideas of what scenarios might lead to something like that. Let me just tell you, there are a few characters and a few situations where you think one thing's going to happen, and boy, did I fall into that trap, and something completely unexpected happened. I don't want to spoil it for you, because it's just such a gripping story so far. But moving on to gameplay, let's talk about that. The Walking Dead game isn't so much known for innovative gameplay. It's a point-and-click adventure. It remains largely the same as the previous season. For those of you who don't know, Telltale has been working on a different project called The Wolf Among Us, which is based off of a comic series called Fables. And it's identical to that, but they updated some of the graphics and some of the button layout, how you point and click around in the world that the character's inhabiting, and a lot of that transfers. A lot of the stuff from Wolf Among Us transfers over to the second season of Walking Dead. Instead of scrolling through a selection of voice prompts when you're having a conversation, they replace that with like 4 separate boxes, like 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and it's impossible to tell like what's the good guy decision, what's the bad guy decision. But it's a little... I don't know why they implemented it that way, because I had no problem whatsoever with the old way that they allowed you to choose what to say. I pretty much just scrolled and clicked, or I would tap down on the arrow key and just press enter, and I had enough time. But now you have to move the mouse over and click on something, and it's a little more annoying. I hope it doesn't come back to like affect how quickly I can decide to say something, because I really don't want to screw up a potential conversation tree. But yeah, and for those of you who haven't played it, a point and click adventure, you look for stuff around the environment, and the main meat of the game is dealing with other characters and deciding, how do I handle this situation, especially if someone is angry with me or suspicious of me, and what decisions do I make when it comes down to these action-packed scenarios where we're fending off attackers or walkers, zombies, and stuff like that. Other than the voice tree, as you're moving around the environment and like looking for actions to do, instead of the way on PC, I'm not exactly sure about consoles, but for PC now, you'll hover over an item that is you can interact with, and instead of scrolling like for the like a hand symbol or the eye symbol or something like that, all the symbols are kind of like at the cardinal direction points of the circle surrounding the item. So instead of like using my scroll roller on my mouse, I kind of have to hover my I kind of have to hover my mouse key or my mouse over the action that I want, which seems a little annoying, and it hasn't happened in any like tense scenario yet, so I've always had enough time to do it. It's just kind of another additional step to like, well, why did they change this? There was nothing broken about it in the first place. I think a better way of implementing it would be like, hover your mouse over the circle, and maybe with the WASD sort of select it then, but that could get sketchy, and I'm not a game designer, so I'll just keep my opinions to myself. And then presentation. I'm happy to say that as far as graphics and the way the story proceeds visually, there have been some significant advancements. Obviously, Telltale made a crap ton of money with the season 1 of Walking Dead, critically acclaimed and all that. And parts of their success showed in Wolf Among Us, and again transfers over to The Walking Dead season 2. Characters are noticeably more smooth. They don't look quite as robotic and stiff. They have a deeper sense of cell shading, which is like that cartoony sort of drawing style of gameplay graphics. I also noticed that like their faces are a little more emotive. Just in general, they look more human, and they emote better, which coupled with the excellent voice work by the actors for Clementine and all the other characters, really helps to draw you farther into this world and convince you of, you are in peril, or you are nervous, or you are suspicious of this person who has that like particular look in their eye. And I think we are in for a treat with season 2 of Walking Dead. Looking up here, it looks like you can buy the first episode or the season pass pretty much everywhere right now, if not in the next couple days from when this airs. But episode 2 is still TBA, so we'll know about that later, and we can probably tell you about that in one of our news segments. And yeah, 5 episodes this season. You can buy it on Steam or pretty much everywhere else, because now they know that there's a base for it who wants it. I believe it's $25 for the season pass, or $5 for each episode individually. And yeah, I believe that the season is planned to end of summer 2014. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes to get everything else out. But this has been the review for Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 1 anyway, and I believe we'll probably bring you reviews for each additional episode. My final rating for Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 1 on our 10-point scale, I'm going to have to give it a 9 out of 10, because while not perfect, and the first season never was too, this game, even though it isn't super gameplay heavy, managed to evoke again that sense of excitement, that sense of trepidation in the previous season, and I am now more excited for Walking Dead than I have been after playing 400 days, and I cannot wait for the next episodes. That's the true mark of a great game, is now I'm thrilled to get the next installment. So this has been Button Mash on WCRD. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, Button Mash BSU. Excuse me. That is Button Mash BSU. And you can find me at Joseph Knoop on Twitter. That's JOSEPHKNOOP. Follow me. I talk about lots of gaming news stuff. Lucas is on Facebook. We're on Facebook, and we post everything over there so you can listen to it later. Feel free to send us comments, messages, questions. We will answer them as long as they're FCC friendly. And guys, happy holidays and blah, 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 rawr, zombies.
much about you folks, but y'all keep going on like this, and that girl ain't gonna make it. You gotta consider her a living person, that's it. You're either living or you're not. You ain't little, you ain't a girl, you ain't a boy, you ain't strong or smart. You're alive.